It must be that time. I ain't done yet. Play. Okay, and that's it for that music. Sorry. If you wanted it to continue, you should have written it longer. I don't even know who wrote it. Right now, I don't even care who wrote it. The best part about it is, it doesn't get me internet blocked or banned from all the other crap that goes on around here. I don't know whose music it is, but they said I could use it. Good enough for me. Howdy, y'all. How we doing today? Today I'm smoking a Oliva Series G. Often enough I do go with punch. I like the consistency. I will be using my little lump of steel. And right next to that will be the lid to my Zycar can. It's a little windy today, and there's a spider, very small, that was crawling around on my phone. And the last thing y'all want to see is a spider decide to crawl right across the lens. It'll look the same size as I am, probably scare the crap out of y'all. It'll definitely scare the crap out of me. Not really. But I would wonder what in the hell the spider's doing going across there. Fast little booger. I can't even get it to focus on him. Never mind. Yeah, that little spot on my thumb, that was all of him. Are we getting through? Hello? No comments? There we go. Yes, the little red dot that was on my thumb, that was it. It was a whole spider. They're tiny. And they hide out on this little red chair that I use along with my little magnetic mount. Jose Manuel Cavendish. Howdy. Howdy, howdy. Yeah, I don't know what they are. It looks like a little bitty spider. They are fast. They crawl around on things. They don't ever seem to crawl around on me. Tiny little bitty things. They're not even big enough to even attempt to go after a mosquito, so they're pretty much worthless to me. Now, we've got some good-sized spiders that show up during the mosquito season. Whew! I've seen some that are the size of my hand. Okay, so if you can consider that that's about 9 inches across, we're talking about big spiders, huge, gigantic webs, and you'll see little spots all over the web where they've got a mosquito, and another one, and another one, and another one. The really big ones will even get those June bugs. So in case anybody's watching this on playback, the chat box over here, it's here. I finally figured out how to get everybody's name to show up with a different color, and sometimes it shows up as white. Unfortunately, that means right about here is Jose Manuel Cavendish. I can see the Jose and the men, and the rest of it fades away as it gets onto the door here on the white section. But I've been playing with it. I got something that's working for me, so that's way better than me always having to go, what'd you say? What? Wait, hold up. Oh, and we're all in orange. I've been playing with it all day, trying to figure out what color would work best. Where, as you can see, the red goes up here, and I don't want things to fade out. But what shows up real well here in the white and the reflective off that glass. Trying to improve the show for y'all. Well, for me too. Makes it a whole lot easier to read. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Chad. Jose, you can literally ask any question you want to ask Chad right here in chat. You don't have to use a special secret app. Now, I mean, if you're wanting to keep it like a ultra super private thing, I can understand. But remember, this is y'all's chance to talk amongst yourselves. Even if it means excluding me, it's fine. I've literally been to a tailgate where only 3 people out of 20 sitting around in a group actually got along. The other 17 were like staring daggers at each other. But we all got along for the tailgate. Hey, what do you know? Nobody needs to get knifed around here. If all else fails, pull out the Cohiba. Howdy, Eddie. Great to have you on board today. So in case somebody's wanting to figure it out, how big that lighter is I keep showing y'all to light my cigars. There is a regular size pipe lighter Zippo. So yeah, this thing weighs a ton. Oh, there's that spare flint I didn't put in the Zippo today. At one point in time, I've got to get some of these for everybody that's got a Zippo. Great for putting it in your pocket and not scratching up all of that expensive artwork. Most everybody has artwork on theirs. Yeah, it's a pretty good chunk of steel for a lighter. Jose, sorry that you couldn't hang out longer. Great having you on board there for the couple of minutes that you're able to be here. And yeah, good luck with the move. Know that we're thinking about you. Stay safe, amigo. In case y'all are wondering what I typed in on Twitter, because I type my things into Twitter, I still send out the notice that I'm doing these things. And I still start long rants with people who are gun grabbing fools. Mostly because I think all gun grabbers are fools. Unless you're grabbing your own guns. You go grabbing for my guns, you're probably going to get a real bad experience. Just is the way it is. Not trying to make some crazy statement, but the government only taught me how to shoot people. I knew how to shoot before I started. In case y'all are wondering, that'd be the army that I was in. But that's the truth. In the military, they teach you how to shoot people. Howdy, Steph. Is Skip there with you, or is he still working on something? Uh-oh. So in case anybody's not reading that, Skip got his second shot this morning and is passed out now. Well, Steph, stop letting him shoot all that high-grade alcohol and he wouldn't be passed out. That's too bad. Tell him I thought about him. Ah, big stretch. Big stretch. only shots I'm getting are the ones that come in small glasses. Unfortunately, I like it better when they're in rocks glasses and I tell them 3 fingers. And for all of those people who are English teachers, I can say, read between the lines. No, I'm sorry, Steph. Don't do that. That was wrong of me to even think about saying it that way. The world does better because it has good teachers. Also, the world is better when we're not burning books. Oh wait, isn't that what cancel culture is all about? Burn the book. It offended me. Really? Really? Hey, y'all can tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, I will freely admit it when I'm wrong. I'm wrong. The other day, Chad showed me that I was wrong on my own live stream when I said that the Air Force had not broken the sound barrier, but it was the Army Air Corps. No, in fact, it was the Air Force. I thought that it was the year previous that it was broken the sound barrier. Maybe it was something that I read in a book, but somebody kept saying that it was covered up by the military so that the press didn't get it and run with it, and then it finally got leaked out about 6 or 8 months later. But I mean, I'm not able to go back and actually ask Chuck Yeager anymore exactly what day that happened. I'm fairly certain he would have told the truth about it. Chad, I do agree with you. First the book, then the author, then the reader. And then the idea. If they can even burn the idea. Hard to say. Oh, yeah. Huva Ilta Boris. I have got to learn what Ja Kai Mut means. I'm horrible at that. Howdy, Odie. How's it going? Odie, that is always an excellent thing. When you can turn a loss into a profit and you can tell your workers, I ain't afraid to do this job. I can do this job. Is what it is. Well, Odie, I'll tell you, I've been running around like a fool all day. Wife said, go up to the store, get some stuff. Cool. One item on the list could not get. So I went to another store. Could not get it. Finally went to a third store. Finally got back here. I did all of this in between cooking her breakfast and all of that stuff and making sure that lunch was ready for her. Hell, quite literally, I barely got to sit down and smoke a cigar. But I'm smoking a cigar. That means it's great. And no, I'm not trying to say that it was good, bad, or horrible or anything. Everett! Howdy, Everett! I guess I missed when you first spoke in chat. Oh, interesting. I cannot scroll this particular chat window up. Nice. Okay, so that just tells me that I'm stuck with it. It's okay though. I'll try to keep up. If I get too far behind, just type it in again. I'll read it eventually, I'm sure. So, in case people have not been following along with the live shows, probably got a jam-packed day today. We're more than likely going to hear about how taxes are going to go up. They were going to go up eventually anyways, but the whole 16 or 1,650%, that's got people kind of confused, because is that on the total price or is that just on the amount of tax? Or what in the heck? So it could be various different ways to look at this. Probably gonna hear about it on Chad's show, maybe a little bit. You'll definitely hear about it on Cane Rod. But I'd be surprised if we hear about it at all on Martin's show. From what I understand, he's going to see if he can get a last shot with Steve. So we might be making sure that the shots don't happen tonight. Morris, honestly, I didn't watch a damn bit of it. I probably should have. I like to wait until they've got 3 or 4 picks on the board, though. That way I can just look them all up at the same time. Instead of looking one up last night, and then looking one up about now, and then looking one up about, I don't know, about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. I just said, nah. I'll look up day 1 and day 2 at the same time. I don't even know who they picked. I didn't even look. A lot of people think that's crazy, but I like to look at what they also picked 2nd and 3rd. You got to remember, a couple of years ago, the Raiders picked Khalil Mack first. Now, the Texans should have picked Khalil Mack over Clowney, but no, they chose Clowney because of that one hit that he had against Michigan. One hit. That's all it takes to get you into the NFL, quite literally. And then the 2nd pick, the Raiders took David Carr's little brother by the name of Derek Carr. And then they started putting a team together. And you know what? They actually did pretty damn good. But if I looked at just the first pick, I was disappointed that they went after Khalil Mack first when it was obvious that they needed a quarterback. But being that they got who they got, when they got him, and for the price tag that they got him, I'm going to say that they did all right. So it's always kind of one of those up in the air. You kind of have to take the good with the bad. I mean, I'm pretty certain that my team did better in picks last night than the Kansas City Chiefs. They didn't pick any. Or the Houston Texans, who won't pick until the 3rd round. But yes, I'm not looking as of yet at who the Raiders have picked. Probably right after Martin's show, I will look up the names and then start looking at the film for real. Eddie, I agree with you completely. The whole tax bill could be tweaked and changed and scrapped, even after it gets out of Finance Committee. It all just depends upon, can they get enough people to vote on it? Now, unfortunately, I believe that bills of this nature are a simple majority, meaning if they can get 51 out of 100 votes, then it's ratified as a law. And right now, there are not enough Republican senators to block anything that the Democrats really want to do. It's just the way you got to look at things. Eddie, I agree with that statement also. Just look at Bo Jackson. Actually, it was a horse collar tackle. But he never played another game in the NFL. Probably the fastest person that has ever been in the NFL. Bo Jackson. He did not run at the combine, but on a certain pro day, he did turn in a time that was 4.1. Now, all these people are saying 4.2, 4.2, 4.2. They're looking for that 4.2 flat. Bo Jackson turned in a 4.1. And it was timed by 3 different people. It was 4.2 flat, that was the most time, and the 4.15 was the least time, and they averaged the 3 together and they came up with 4.17, if I remember correctly. Let's just say if you can run a 40 in 4.17, you are flat smoking it. Well, Boris, if you think that it's just like the rest of their picks in the last couple of years, that means that Gruden is trying to put together his team, not somebody else's team. But he's trying to do it with the right pieces, in the right positions, at the right time. Dave, by the way, howdy, Dave. The Raiders. Let's see, why did they pick a 3rd rounder in the 1st round? Oh, you're talking about that draft where they picked Janikowski, who should have been a 6th rounder, but they picked him in the 1st round. And then they picked up Shane Leckler just to confuse more people. I am well aware that the Raiders do not always pick right. One of my favorite mistakes that the Raiders ever made when picking, and no, we're not going to go back to Jamarcus Russell. That was a mistake, yes. But my favorite mistake was when they decided to take Darius Hayward-Bay Stonehands over Michael Spider-Man Crabtree. If you don't understand, Stonehands could not catch a damn ball. He was 1/100th of a second faster than Michael Crabtree, but he couldn't catch the damn ball. Michael Crabtree, slightly slower, went to the San Francisco 49ers. He had hands damn near like Jerry Rice. And a big body and natural talent about getting both feet down in bounds when you threw it up to him on the sidelines. But no, they took Darius Hayward-Bay. That was a horrible pick. Of course, if we got to go back, all the way back through time, the single team with the best pick ever, best single pick ever, would be that team formerly known as the Washington Redskins. They had just gotten murdered in the Super Bowl by the Raiders because they could not keep up with the speed of the Raiders. Their defensive unit was slow. They were great at certain things, but they were slow. And in the 1st round, the Redskins took Darrell Green. And Darrell Green caught Tony Dorsett from behind and Eric Dickerson from behind. And at the time, that was impossible. And then he hung around for 20 years. Boris, I would say that they are definitely Gruden's picks, because Mayock runs the day-to-day, but Gruden runs the team. And you might have to look at the full-on contract. But when Gruden got his 10% of the profits signed into his contract, his 10-year, this amount of money, and a 10% ownership, I would love to be a coach and be able to call that kind of cash Sure, 10% ownership. Ownership. Wow. But in his contract, there are certain things where it says specifically he gets the overall pick on the team. Now, Mayock hires the draft agents. And what do I mean by draft agents? I mean the guys who go out to the high school games and the guys who go out to the college games and actually see these players playing. And if you think that NFL talent scouts have not gone out to a high school game, you're a fool. They want to know where that kid's going before he even gets there. That way they don't have to go looking for him 100 times. And hey, you know what? I'm in a town. There's a local high school game. I don't have to announce that I'm there. I'm just going to go look and see if there's anybody worth looking at. And then I'm going to find out who he is. And then I'm going to figure out a way to track his butt into college so that I know where to go specifically so that I can see him play in college to see if he's still that good or was the other team just that piss poor. Actually, I know a few of the NFL talent scouts, and yeah, they all say the same thing. It's all that way. Well, if I wasn't picking until 53 or 56 or whatever it was, I'd be achy too. Sorry, Skip. Still picking on you. It's draft season, so therefore our hatred of one another's teams can show up again. But you know. And no, I'm not about to fall out of my chair as somebody else did. Nor am I about to wear a dress. Howdy, DDT. How are you doing today? Glad to see you're on board today. Well, Everett, I hope that you are feeling better. Is DDT actually named Dan? If so, Dan, how you doing, Dan? Dan the man. And I'm willing to bet you have heard that statement about 1 billion times in your life by now. What can I tell you? That's okay. I've heard my last name mispronounced a few 100,000 times. Oh yes, Huggies, Huges. I kind of like Huges though. I like to tell them what parts are the Huges parts. Things you can't say on television. Oh, but I could say it here. Well, Everett, I think we're all moving a little slow here in Texas. It's been raining like crazy, which is weird for El Paso, but pretty normal for Houston. Yesterday was leg day. Yeah, I skipped leg day. I also skipped arm day. Closest I get to curls are 12 ounce. We had some parts down here, Eddie, that had over 4 inches inside of an hour. That is turd floating weather. I don't care what you call it. There's just no way to ever explain to people what 4 inches in an hour feels like or what it looks like. It's something that you would have to experience. And if you've never experienced it, then don't ever go calling people in Houston crazy when we say that's not rain. What are you going to do when it really starts raining? That's because we're talking about a whole nother level of rain. Some about as the Gulf current brings this nice warm wet air straight up into the Houston area, and then a cold front comes through, it gets together and drops it directly on top of us. Ooh, good Lord, Dan. Yeah. I think you should have done one or the other, but doing both probably did you in. And yes, I'm reading that correctly. Look, chopping up a tree or cutting down and then chopping up a tree is, well, that's a lot of work. But then all the other yard work too. I know it was for family. Boris, if I ever saw 4 inches of snow, it was probably in a picture. Or it was in Alaska. It was in Alaska. There's no or about it. I saw it. I didn't want to see it. I never wanted to see it again. Of course, I've also been up around Niagara Falls. And I'll tell you, I've seen snow. But I've never seen 4 inches of snow in 1 hour. There's 24 hours in a day. If you have 4 inches of snow in 1 hour, oh, I've seen mountains of snow. There are pictures out there of people walking on snow, and the phone and power lines are below knee height because there's been so much snow that it's literally all the way to the top of the telephone poles. But the question still remains. 4 inches of snow in an hour. That's a foot of snow every 3 hours. That would be 8 feet of snow in a day if it could snow at that level. Which would probably be okay. 8 feet of snow, you know, it's going to pack in around the house. The house is actually going to stay warm. But when it melts, it'll probably all melt at the same time, and therefore you are going to be ankle deep inside your house. Calendar says it's spring. Yeah. Oh, goodness gracious, fire bans. It's one of the things I love about living in Houston. You maybe will see a fire ban once every 35 years. The rest of the time, it's either too wet to barbecue or just right to barbecue. And the reason why Texas barbecues so much, at least anywhere south and along the Gulf Coast. Now, don't get me wrong, they barbecue just fine up in the Dallas area where it's dry. And I can explain that too. And they barbecue just fine out there in El Paso where it's dry. And they do just fine out in Amarillo where it's dry. But Texas gets very hot during the summertime. You'll see 110 degrees in some locations. No problem. It's like, yeah, so what? It's 110. Big deal. Light the grill. We do that because we can keep all the heat from cooking outside of the house. So it takes less energy to keep the house cool. That's why almost everybody in Texas has a grill of some sort and quickly becomes a pro. Otherwise, you're paying $800 and $900 in electric bills because you're trying to keep your air conditioner going up against your stove and your oven. And if you can figure out how to do all of that on the grill, you're just saving money. Now, the reason why we do it a lot here on the Gulf Coast, even though it rains a lot, is because not only is it hot, but it's humid too. You can take dry air and you can cool it off actually a lot faster than you can cool off humid air. And the reason for that is because if you cool off humid air too fast, it will actually condensate on your walls. And then all your sheetrock turns to mold-bearing surfaces. When your sheetrock turns into mold-bearing surfaces, you basically got to tear all of it out and replace all of it. Go. Yeah, not fun. So that's why here along the Gulf Coast, they learn to barbecue as soon as it's dry enough outside that you don't sink, and you have 2 or 3 different versions of some sort of a grill. You've got a gas grill just in case you can fit it in between. Maybe you can get a couple burgers or some hot dogs or something done. You've got that charcoal grill, which you can take to the beach or over to a neighbor's house or whatever. And then you've got that smoker that you only light up when you know you've got 3 days with no rain, or you've figured out some way to string a tarp so that you can stay dry while it's smoking. It's like a lot of work, but so worth it. So worth it. So extremely worth it. One of these days when I do get a smoker pit going again, my last one kind of rusted through after several years. It happens. They're hard to take care of when you have no job and you don't have the ability to keep burning wood in them, and the smallest little bit of ash that's left over inside can start creating a rust pit. Even in stainless it'll happen. Well, after 15 years, hey, guess what? The last pit I had that was a smoker finally rusted up enough that I didn't think it was safe to use anymore. So I cut it up and sold it for scrap. Only thing left to do with it. But we're pretty good now. I get another job, I'll get another smoker pit, I'll drag you around, and we're going to show you how to do some old school smoking, Texas style. Dr. Pepper Cherry, completely horrible. I probably shouldn't do it at all. Eddie, everybody south of I-20, I guarantee, is thinking about brisket already. Every one of us. Well, as long as we're inside of that 880 miles of I-10. Yes, 880 miles. That's how far I-10 stretches from coast to coast in Texas. And that's not even the longest route. That trip from Brownsville all the way up to Amarillo and points north of that, that's the long route. But I'm fairly certain Steph and Skip are already starting to think about brisket. Three feet of snow just to dig out enough that you could barbecue some chickens. See, I knew Steph was up there going, oh yeah, Paul the Piper. Howdy, sir. How is the wrench business going? Wrench strong. In case y'all don't know, Paul is he wears blue on most channels. Oh, weird. Everybody's Everybody's name keeps changing colors as it goes up the list. Okay, cool. Now I see how that works. All right. Well, yeah, it's one of those jobs that it never is going to really pay off. But you do such a good job. And no, you don't have to do it here. I'm not worried about it. Barbecued ribs in a snowstorm. Nice. I actually one time set up to do a brisket on a weekend when I knew I would have the time, and it decided to rain. You know those little pools that they sell at Walmart? They're either green or blue. They're about maybe 4.5 to 5 feet across. Well, I set one of those up over my grill, well, my smoker, and I took a long piece of pipe and a tin can, and I set it up with some wire to keep the can up off the top of the pipe so that the smoke would go up the pipe and out of the pool. And I set that pool up on, well, a plant hanging device known as shepherd's hooks. When it starts to rain down here, you just got to do what you got to do. Oh, don't worry about it, Paul. Believe me, nobody cares. Noun, verb, adjective. Hell, you know what? The word barbecue is a sentence all in itself, at least here in Texas. Here's how it works. Barbecue? All you gotta say. Oh, nice. Odie, that sounds like a good thing. Now, gotta remember, hickory is good, mesquite is good. All mesquite is bad. If you're just cooking on just straight mesquite, that smoke's going to be super thick. Now, hickory is considered the king of barbecue. But what I like to do is I like to put about equal parts of these three woods: hickory, mesquite, and pecan. Comes out just right. Oh yeah, hickory smoked bacon, but then again there's maple smoked bacon. And for those of y'all who don't know, here in Texas, the maple trees will never produce syrup. You have to have that cold season for it to actually produce the sap of the right consistency for syrup. But the trees will grow. And if you get the trees to grow, when they get big enough, you can cut some limbs off of there, top it out, or cut the whole thing down if you need to. And you can use that maple tree to smoke meat. And that is just as good as the syrup. My opinion, maybe, but still. Oh yeah, the bagged chunks right on top of the charcoal. See, if you take the charcoal just enough to get the fire started, and then you start doing the other wood on top of that just to keep it going, once you get that temperature set, if you use those 3 woods, you don't even have to change the airflow at all. You just, every 2 hours, you add a little more. Everything cooked on a barbecue is awesome. If you don't believe me, you need to come to Texas during the rodeo. That would be Houston, Texas, during the rodeo. And they do everything. Canada is known for some maple syrup. I mean, it is your leaf right there on your flag. Just saying. Oh yeah, the B&B, that's the lump charcoal though. Now, Kingsford is a pressed charcoal. They have to add binders to the charcoal to get the little bits to cling together. The binder is the unclean part of the charcoal. The less binders you use, the cleaner the charcoal will burn. Thus, lump charcoal is always going to burn cleaner and hotter. I'm not so sure that Canada is really known for hockey. I mean, I can remember a game where Finland and the United States played for the gold medal. And ketchup chips. Wait. Most gold medals in what? Most gold medals in the Olympics, I'm pretty certain the United States of America still holds that title. Right, so a pit barrel smoker, you of course would want to use the Kingsford because you want to keep the heat lower. And sometimes you just cannot choke back enough air to actually keep one of those things down to a level that's going to work right. Basketball? Let me see here. NBA. Oh, that's right, y'all. Yeah, the Raptors, didn't they win one? One. They won one, yeah. And fries with gravy. Poutine. But I'll eat it. It's fine. It's good stuff. Basketball was invented by a Canadian? I didn't know that. Learned something new today. Learned something new today. Hey, Chad, you got about 5 minutes. Just letting you know. Just in case you're not done setting up your own live stream yet. A lot of work between now and then. Go, Chad, go. Cheese curds? I thought that was Wisconsin. Okay, so a Canadian professor invented basketball while he was working in the United States. So does that make it a United Canadian sport? Just wondering. Oh, a Canadian professor that moved to the U.S. and taught at Kansas. Now I'm seeing how it goes. What he wanted was a sport that you could play with a lot fewer than baseball or football. But something that you could still be competitive at. It's okay. I don't mind. Hey, there were Canadians that jumped with the 101st in Normandy. Just the truth. One thing Canada has, and they do real well on this, that the United States doesn't do very well on it, is moose hunting. I can't seem to find any part of the United States that allows you to hunt a moose. But Canada, if you can apply early enough, and if the borders are actually open, oh, here's a funny one. The first cup used in hockey was used 100 years before the helmet. Go ahead, think about that. Oh, yeah, I guess you can hunt moose in Alaska. But let's look at the size of Alaska compared to the size of Canada. Moose is very tasty. I do like moose. Ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that the Chad is live. He's wearing a blue shirt today and smoking a pipe. Chad, say hello. Or don't. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over there and party with Chad. As per always and normal. Thank y'all so much for showing up today and chilling out with me as we hung out waiting for the rest of the Friday shows to start. It has been so nice having you here. Please enjoy your stay as we go shifting space over to California. As per normal, take care of yourselves and take care of each other as best you can. We're a small community. We need to do as best we can on this, and we do a lot better than most. And of course, as always, long lives, big bowls, and long ashes. Y'all take care, and I will see you on Chad's show shortly. Bye.
I can fit my whole head in this screen.